How exciting. Good morning, everybody. I'm just going to get make sure. Oh, there we go. Yay, look at that. I'm a couple of minutes early. I just wanted to make sure everything was a go, and it looks good. There's the pictures of those. And we'll let some people. Sharon is already on, I see. Good morning, Sharon. Just want to make sure that we're all, everybody is connecting here. I don't see any comments yet, so we're just going to wait a second. Oh, I hate to see my arm in these shots. There we go. Yay. I saw Sharon on the phone, but I didn't see on the iPad, and now there she is. So I know there's some numbers. We're growing a little bit. Good morning. Good morning. It's Diane Henderson. I'm excited to be here again to do your Crafty Hour 85. Lose track of the numbers. Remember when I did Crafty Hour 40, and I thought that was a big thing. I'm going to sit down. Let me just pull out the chair here. Please say hi so I know we were getting the numbers here. And we'll get going in just a minute. Not quite 10 o'clock. I always like you say, I'm like the last person that you want technology to be around. So I always have the girls, Stacy especially, help me out. A sip of coffee. So good morning. I see numbers. Let's just hope we're seeing comments because I want to make sure. Yeah, there we go. Janice, good morning. And Olga, good morning. Kathy. So yeah, so I'm excited. Again, it's Diane Henderson, and I'm really happy to be back doing some crafty hours for you. I don't know if it's a good thing for you or not, but I get to do the next one too. So I love doing them. They're a lot of fun, and I like to come up with sort of some different ideas for you too. And of course, we all have different ideas, all of us that are able to do it. And it's great that, you know, we have Jen that's done them, and Joe and Leslie and Deanna, and of course, Courtney, and everybody has a different style. And that's the best part about it. So we can all do something different for you and give you some ideas. But of course, remember, Crafty Hour is always just suggestions. These are ideas that we've come up with, but you have a kit of stuff, great stuff, especially this one, Uniquely, I love. And this purple line is just beautiful. So, but these are just suggestions. And I always post pictures and some directions afterwards. If we don't get to our second card, which is this little one on top, you will have full directions and pictures either tonight or tomorrow. So you will get those too. I really want to work on our first little project here, and I hate rushing people. So we'll get started in just a second where I see our numbers are growing. And good morning to everybody, Sandy and Joyce and Huguette and all of you. I appreciate you taking some time to sit with me for a little bit. So yes, Uniquely, this company is out of Australia. This was also one of the pop-up warehouse sales that Deanna was able to do when she was away at the trade show. They have amazing product. They really do. And they come out with so many nice things all the time. So I was very excited when I was asked by Deanna if I would mind doing a little crafty hour for this. And I thought it would be a fun way of doing something different. So I'm going to move this little card. This is the little card. This is just a little blank card, has a little gift card holder in it. And I will go over it if we don't have time to put it together. Like I say, I will give you full directions and everything. I'll post them on Clipper Street and also on Crafty Hour designs as well. So I'm going to move that one off to the side for now because we're going to concentrate on this one. Now, I don't know how many people did Makermania. Jen and I from Clipper Street were asked by Deanna to do some inspiration things that we had with the different products. And one of the things I came up with was let me see if I can grab it here. So this was a book that I did. This was my husband and my Paris trip that we were on last fall, Europe trip, and we went to Paris. And so what I came up with, because the kit included these 6x6 envelopes, I was able to put together the envelopes, and they basically just tuck inside of each other. And I made this album. And again, this is another reason, if you haven't taken Maker Mania before, please sign up for it. It is amazing. So this was a bigger journal, and of course your kit that you received this time from Uniquely also had envelopes with it. And I thought, well, why don't we create the same sort of idea as the big one in a smaller version? Now, this could be a photo book, and I will show you the inside of mine in a sec, or it could be a journal, it could be a junk journal, it could be just something you wanted to have to leave blank for somebody. But what a quick way to give somebody a special gift that costs you very little. Like, it's just basically your paper, your embossing folders, which I know you all have and you know I have, and your envelopes. And like I say, this kit came with the envelopes and all of the die cuts that you can see here on the cover. So I'll just show you quickly, we'll flip through it, and then we'll get started on putting it together. So this was my son Matthew and his lovely wife, my daughter-in-law now, Yelena, who got married last May. So I decided I would make it a picture book, but you don't need to. Again, you could make it a journal. And I used some of the little sayings that we got in the kit too, just to add to it, and some of the die cuts. And I turned it to black and white photos only because with the purple palette, it doesn't always look great with, colored photos. So I made this into a little photo book, really quick. And of course I have to have Max and everything. So he is there too, my little grandson. And I added the die cuts and the photos, and there was just a embossing folder on the back, embossing folder on the front, and we added the die cuts. So I'm going to take you through how I did this. I will show you the papers and the dimensions for cutting out. Of course, you're not going to have photos today to put in. So I'm going to show you the die cuts that I used, but I'm not going to stick them in with you because you're going to want to either add photo pages or journal pages and then add your die cuts afterwards. And the thing I always say about Crafty Hour is, because Courtney and I split the kit, we all have the same die cuts, so that's great. But if you go into secondary die cuts, you could be using ones that Courtney's going to use later this afternoon. So wait till after she has done her presentation, or maybe you have extras, because I know Diane sold quite a few extras as well. Then you can go to town and you could add whichever die cuts and sentiments and things that you want to do at that time. So let's go ahead and make the initial book, just so you have an idea on how to put this together. So I'm just going to stick this up here, and I'll put it over here because I can put my dimensions on the other side. Make sure that I am in view of that. Takes a sec. I'll bring it down a bit and over a bit. Okay, so these are the envelopes that you received in your kit. Everybody had a little pack of envelopes and a little pack of cards. So these are the envelopes. So what I want you to do is grab 3 of your envelopes. So hopefully you have them close by and you can grab them. Or if you're going to make it later, then again, you'll just see as we go along how we do it. So we're grabbing 3 of the envelopes, okay? And what I've done, and if you want to take a screenshot of this, or I can post it later, this is envelope 1. This is envelope 2. So if you can see it here, I've kind of slid envelope 2. And this is envelope 3. Okay? So I'll show you how I did this. So envelope 2, here's your envelope 1. You just open it like this, flap on the right side. You stick envelope 2 inside that. Okay, so it just goes right inside, just like that. And you don't have to worry about attaching it or anything at this point. So you've pushed envelope 2 into there. Then you close it and you take envelope 3 and you stick it in to the back part. Does that make sense? Everybody okay with that? So there is your pages. So you've got your cover, page 1, page 2, page 3, and page 4, and then you'll have your back cover. And this is loose. You could put another envelope in. If you wanted to put more pages, you could. But all I did at the end, and I'll show you as we go along and put our back cover on, I just put a piece of tape across this just to hold it in place. But that's all it's doing. So everybody's okay? That makes sense? Okay, good. Like I say, I can post this later too. But you can always go back and look at the video too. So if you're not doing it right now, then you're good to go. So those one, that's what I'm just going to stick aside just because I had my numbers on that one. And then here is my one that I have just grabbed. So envelope 1, envelope 2, envelope 3, and then there's that back flap. That forms our little book. That's as easy as it is. And then I'll show you how it obviously sticks together so it doesn't all fall apart. So now we're going to do the cover. So the cover, I used the embossing folder that I asked you to do in homework. It can be a floral, it can be a pattern. If you're doing a more of a guy kind of idea card thing, then you wouldn't want to use a floral, you could use anything. And then I used some silver glitter. You don't have to use silver, you could use a color. If you could find a nice match for the mauve, you could do that too. So what we'll do is we'll cut the pieces for both the front and the back because they're exact same sizing. Okay, so here is my embossing folder. Let me grab my directions here. And I can put them there beside us. Right here, let me make sure I'm in camera view. Just push that aside just for a second. Okay, perfect. Okay, so let's cut the silver glitter first. If you've got it, and again, if you want to do something else later on, you can do this later on. But here's your dimensions, so you can take a screenshot of this, or again, I will post it for you later, so you can do that. But we'll cut our 2 pieces, that way we've got them for the back cover as well. So we are going to cut 6 1/4. Move my little book just for a sec so I can swing out the arm of my cutter. There we go. And we're going to cut this to 6 1/4, which is basically, if you're using a Spellbinders trimmer, it's basically where that little fold line is for the arm. So 6 1/4, and then we're going to cut 2 pieces to 4 1/2. So 4 1/2. And 4 1/2, and then I'm just going to put it up against my envelopes just to make sure that that works. Okay, I'm going to cut that 6 1/4 down a little bit. I'll cut it to about 6. It could be, it's hard with that where that fold goes. So I'm never exactly sure if it's 6 1/4 or not. So just hold it up to your envelopes. And if you need a tiny little bit, like I just took a tiny thread off just so I've got a very tiny border around the outside. Okay, and the same on this one. I'll just cut a teeny bit off of there. There we go. So that is going to be the front. And we're going to do this one on to the back as well when we're done. So, and that's when I would just, like I say, put a piece of tape or something there just to hold it into place. And just make sure you've kind of pushed your envelopes together, but they should be no problem at all. They slide right in. So there's our silver for our front and our back. Okay. Now we're going to do our 2 embossed pieces. So those were the pieces that I asked you to cut like a 5x7, because if you did that, that basically is going to take care of both of our pieces for our front cover and our back cover. So let me see where I ended up cutting this one, just about there. So I'm saying 6 3/8. Let's just see whereabouts we go. Okay, we're gonna do it. No, we gotta do it this other way. Okay, so 4 3/8. 1, 2, 3. And 6 3/8. So you did need the 2. That's right. That's why I asked you for 3 pieces, because the other one's for the other card. Okay, so 6 3/8. And again, just hold it up to your silver. See how much of a border you have. See, I haven't got enough on that down part. So we're just going to take another thread off. And if you want a wider border, of course, you can do that as well. So this the amount I've given you, the 6 3/8, use it as a guideline, and then just hold it up to your silver. See, I like that. That's enough of a border for me. It's just got a tiny little border. You can see that around there. And that is going to go on to our front cover. And then we're going to do the same thing for our back cover. So grab your other sheet of embossed. 4 3/8 is the width. 1, 2, 3, just a little over 4 1/4. Get all these scrappy guys out of the way. And by 6 3/8, which will be about there. Everybody's doing okay, I hope. Or you're watching, enjoying a cup of coffee. If you're on the West Coast here today, it is another glorious day. We've just had beautiful sunny days for the last few days. And it's gorgeous looking out the window right now as well. Spring is here. I'm going to take a tiny touch more silver off there. Okay, so then that gives me my border of my silver. Okay, and then so we can attach these pieces together. So I'm just gonna slide my trimmer out of the way for a second. You can use whatever you like to attach your pages together. You can use foam squares if you'd like it to be popped up more. Actually, that's exactly what I did. So I put foam tape or foam squares in between my embossed piece and my silver piece. You could do it flat. I'm just going to use sequin today just because of time, so I don't have to put a whole bunch of little foam squares. But again, it's entirely up to you. You could put sequin on this layer and then put it flat onto your cover, your book cover, or you could use foam tape, either one. Oh, that's great, Star. I'm glad you're enjoying your matcha and you're watching and you can do it another day. That's fantastic. Well, then the other idea is then you can kind of come up, if you want to do it as a photo book like I have done, you can come up with the photos you would like to use first and then go ahead and do, you know, the rest of it. So those are just stuck together. I would do the other 2 sides as well. I'm just going to do it quick because I think you all know how to work tape. I hope so. So I'm just going to stick this one, put some sequin on the back of this too. The only thing I do find is if you were just going to use a glue runner, sometimes putting glue runner on the back of an embossed piece, you can run into problems with that. So just because of the embossing, sometimes it pops off a little bit. Depends on your tape and it depends on your glue runner, of course. So let's just pull these off. Everybody's okay, I hope. There we go. take care of my, make sure I have it the right way. Yep. Cover. So there's my front cover. And then this is my back cover. So this is what I was telling you before. All I did was just take a piece of sequin and I just stuck it across there. I didn't even peel it off. I just left it like that. All it's doing is holding that in place. It's not holding the book together or anything, but I just didn't want to have that flap just kind of on its own. So now I'm going to do the same thing for the back. So that way we have our covers done. And then I will show you how we did the die cuts for the front, or the ones that I used. And again, you can change it up to whatever you want to do. All right, there's the sequin on there. Yeah, that's exactly what I would do, Star, is print off what you want to use. You might want to use, here in the Lower Mainland, we have London Drugs. I don't know how far London Drugs goes across Canada, but wherever you get your photos developed, they have the smaller photos, the little, I think they're 2.5 by 3.5 or something like that. So smaller than a 4 by 6. And I love them. I use them all the time for little mini books, because you can get more pictures into your book, and I just think they're just a cute size. And I, like I say, I used the black and white this time only because I didn't want to have. I mean, their wedding day was beautiful, and there were so many colors, but it wouldn't necessarily go with the purple that we were using in the book. So I thought, well, I'll do all of the pictures in black and white, and then it takes on, you know, the color of the purple. It really looked nice. Okay, so we're going to stick this on the back. And there's your cover and your back cover. So there's your pages of the inside of your book, and there's your back cover. Yeah, and if you have your own printer, exactly, you can do them whatever size you want, which is fantastic. Okay, so I'm going to move this out of the way, and we are going to cut the inside pieces for your for inside the book. And I had asked you to just have some sheets of white cardstock. I like the Nina. It's a nice weight. It's 110 pounds, but you can use something lighter, or you could just go directly into pattern paper. You don't even need to do this. It's entirely up to you. So we're going to do 4 of them at 4 by 6. So if we cut, let's see, let's do 6. And then we do 4. And you could do the glitter paper, you know, around it as well if you wanted to do that too. Entirely up to you. There's another 4. And we'll do 1 more. And that is our 4 pieces of for the inside of the book. And again, you feel free to use colored cardstock or whatever you would prefer. Okay, so there's our 4 pieces of that. I'm going to move my trimmer out of the way again, and I'm going to grab our little book back in here. So all I did with this, again, I did it flat because I don't want to have, why does that look so much smaller? I don't want too much thickness to this, right? If you add a lot of foam tape to the, oh yeah, I did it like that. Yeah, okay, so I just left a little bit of a border. Okay, so I did it like this. So there's your 4. And all you're gonna do is stick these down. So you can use just your glue runner, And that's basically what is holding the little book. It's not going to move anywhere because it's holding your pages in place. So I'm just going to quickly use a glue runner just so I'm not taking up a lot of time. And you could make these a little bit bigger too if you wanted to. These were a tiny bit smaller than the envelopes. You could do them probably like more of a 4 and an 1/8. But see, especially this part here, that is attaching that so it's not coming out. And same for this one, that'll go here. Okay, so you're just going to do these. Like that. Everybody's okay? Aw, thanks, Joe. Yeah, that's what I thought. If you put the embossed paper on the front and the back, that's really giving it the firmness to it. See, so there is your, so you're going to do that on the other 2 pages as well. So we're going to do them here and here as well. But we don't need to, I don't need to go through and do that. We won't take the time doing that. So, but this is your little book. So again, now it's up to you. Could be a journal, could be a junk journal, it could be a photo book, it could be anything you wanted to, a little trip diary or a card when you're writing a whole bunch of different sayings and things that mean something to somebody that you're going to give them. But especially for a special occasion, I think it's cool to be able to add your photos and things to it as well. So the one thing I'm going to show you on here, I'm going to pull this guy back in again. There's our sample. Is the cover of your 4x6 paper pack. Now, where did I put that? I had it here somewhere. I, of course, have used mine, so I don't have it. Here it is. Okay, so this is the one that you got with your kit, the 6x6 collection pack. The one thing Uniquely does, which I think is amazing, is they utilize the backs and all kinds of things that you can use. So this, to me, was like a perfect piece of cardstock that you wouldn't just throw out because, oh, it just has the name of the paper pad on there, so I don't need to worry about it. So what I did is I used this strip right here. So if you can see, this is a little pocket. Okay, so I'm going to just use a piece of the other paper. So because I don't have mine with me, or I don't have it now because obviously I used it for my sample and there was only one of those because it is the cover of the paper pad. So that's this here. So what I did was I cut it to 3 1/8, which is basically this here. If you measure that, it's pretty well 3 1/8, a little bit less maybe, but you'll be able to tell. All you're going to want to do is just slice it at 3 1/8. So let me grab my trimmer back in here. So I'm just going to use, this is just one of the other papers in the kit, just so you can see what I'm talking about. So this here is this. Okay, so that's where this would be your floral piece down here. Okay, and you see how this one goes on an angle like that? To me, it was like a perfect way of utilizing it as a pocket. So what I did was I cut it to 3 1/4. So if you go 3 1/4 this way, now it's a square. So this is your square, just like that. And now we're going to cut it diagonal. So just like that. And that pretty well is your whole floral. And it's just a great way of not just tossing that away because it's the name of the paper pad. So you put it on your trimmer, just on a diagonal like that. And this piece is this floral piece, and it's going to get stuck right here in the corner of your cover. Okay, and we're doing it as a pocket because my thought behind this is when I give my son and daughter-in-law this as a gift, I'm also going to just stick a little gift card in there for a nice dinner out or something like that. And I can just stick it in behind my die cuts when I'm done with that. Okay, so what you're going to do now is, I'll move this off to the side. You're just going to take your sequin tape. I would use sequin just because you want to make sure it holds it in place. Again, keep in mind, this is this floral from the cover. And you just want to put your tape here and here because you don't want, obviously, it to, you know, you want to use it. If you don't want to make it into a pocket, then go ahead and stick it on how, you know, stick the whole thing down, no problem. But my thought was I'm going to use it as a pocket and then I can stick something else into there if I want to. Okay, and here. It's just the two sides. Oops, get my sequin out of the way. And I'm just going to stick that in the corner. Are we for, yeah, good, I'm lined up. Okay, so this is an open pocket. So you could stick, you know, you could stick other photos in there if you want, another photo or whatever you do when you decide which ones you're going to use to plan. So there is your little pocket on the outside. Everybody's okay? I hope everyone is. I hope you're just watching along. Okay, so that's the little pocket. Now the next thing is these pieces here. So these are the little postage stamps. And I know, I hope I explained it well enough in the video that these postage stamps Uniquely has come out with are going to be on all kinds of papers. Almost every line that they put out, they are going to do these postage stamps. So these two were on the little 6x6 piece of paper that is in your kit. And if you have the die, this is the metal die that Uniquely put out. It's called the postage stamp, can't read it, strip die, postage stamp strip die. This will go completely over what they put into their paper pads and cut it out for you. If you don't have this, because they are backlogged, you can put it in on request. Just either give us an email or Scrapbooking Memories, let them know. We can get them, but they are out of stock at the moment. It's been a huge, huge thing for them, but we're happy to put you down on request for it. But otherwise, you can just cut it out. So instead of having like the jagged edges, unless you're a great fussy cutter, which I'm not, you can just cut those two strips and it would work the exact same way. But if you want to put your name down or you have this, which I know a ton of you have, because there is just, they went crazy when we got them. We will have more in stock when they have them back in. So all I did with this is I just stuck my two little strips into my pocket. I put one straight and one on an angle. So just like that. Okay, and then what I did was once I had it positioned, I just put a tiny little bit of glue down at the bottom of each one. And when I stuck it in, that way it's at least going to hold it in place. But I like the idea that it kind of flaps and it's not flat. If you want to put just glue behind it and have it flap, you could do that too. So that is the postage part that I did there. Then, so these were the die cuts that I had asked you to grab from your kit. This one down here is for the second card. But this one here is for the cover on the front. So I took this little camera die, which I thought was just adorable, and I put it on first, just like that. And I put foam tape in behind that. So it popped it up a little bit. Let's grab my foam squares. What am I doing for time? I'm just going to show you a couple of these and then I'm going to show you the inside of it and I'll give you some info on the second card as well. Our hour goes by so fast. Okay, so I just put some foam tape like that, and I made sure that it was just on the pocket, not coming off the pocket, because you don't want, again, you want to be able to slide something in here if you want to, right? So these guys aren't attached. Your gift card could still be sliding in, or it could slide this way on your pocket as well. So you're good that way. There's that. And then these other ones, you can just kind of glue and stick them in wherever you like. Like this color palette is just gorgeous. So for this one, and if you find that there's too much, cut off a little bit of it. It's going to be stuck in here, so you're never going to see it. If you've decided, oh, I really want to have that a little bit further down, then just take your scissors, which I dropped on the floor. There we go. And chop off part of it. And then stick it in, because like I say, you're not going to see it. Nobody knows that that has been chopped off. And you can decide kind of where you want to have it. If you want to have it sort of overlapping those postage stamps, then you kind of just stick it in there. My clue to pull out. And I'm just going to stick a little bit of glue in here. Like that. Yeah, and then just stick it in wherever you'd like to have it. Again, you could use double foam tape on the camera, and then put single on your die cuts as you stick those in. Same thing for this guy. So I used this one too, and I kind of just stuck it in on the side. And I would add a very tiny little bit of glue at the bottom, so I could have that popped up like that. When you're giving this to somebody, I would love to have like more of the dimension kind of idea. So just stick your glue at the bottom and just sort of slide that guy in there like that. Then I took this little ticket and I kind of wanted to have it in kind of into the pocket. So again, just play around. See, I could just do it like that, or I could have it come up a little bit more. It's always playing around with it, right? But if it's too long, again, chop it, because you're just gonna kind of stick it. In fact, I'm gonna do that. I just wanna have it sort of stuck in behind my camera so I can pull up my foam squares a little bit. And then just kind of tuck it in where you want to have it, where it works the best for you. So you could do that. Because then, to finish it off, you could use this having fun, which I thought was very appropriate, and put it over top. And again, just put your foam tape over here, because you want to keep the pocket free. If you're not caring about that being a pocket, you like the idea of it just being more and more die cuts or whatever, then you don't have to worry about it. You could put foam tape all the way across and it's holding it in place. So whichever you prefer to do. But that's kind of the ones that I use. I also tucked this little rose. I tucked it in here when I had my little sprig of leaf in there. And then I tucked the little rose in there too. So it's going through your die cuts and seeing where you would like to build them, where you would have them the most. You could also use some of these die cuts if you didn't want as many on the cover, you could use in the inside. So, you know, whatever you want to do, like I say, just keep most of them divided so that Courtney uses what she needs to use tonight, and then you'll have a better idea of what you have left over. But if you bought extras, you're good to go. But it's such a fun little idea for a book, I think. And talk about an inexpensive way of doing it and presenting it to somebody if they're having a special birthday. So I'm going to show you what I did on the inside. And these I am going to post for you tonight so that you have an idea of what I did. So when I say on this, it's going to say page 1. It's going to have a tag. Let me pull this down a little bit. It's going to have a tag. And it'll say page 1, you've already got, it's 4 1/4 across, you're gonna cut 4 1/4 across, and then it's already 6 inches, cut the strip for page 2. So what I mean behind that is I did this as the background for my page, but then on page 2, there was this extra strip left over, so I could put it this way. I flipped it over so I had my flowers up at the top, and then put that there. And then, of course, die cuts. These are the die cuts that I used on my page 2, but I did it after I had put my photo down. So again, you'd want to play around with it, decide what you want to do and what you want to, you know, how you want to create this together. These little guys here, the way they're cut out, that's another die that you can get from Uniquely if you have it, or you can just cut out the strips of them. But Uniquely does make this die. And this one, basically, I kept that piece of paper in here just so I could show you. Here we go. So you got the little, it was like a 4x6 piece of paper. This was it. And it had all of the strips of the different sayings in it. If you put this die on top of your piece of paper, so say this was the piece of paper, it had all the sentiments on it, you roll it through, all these little pieces just fall out. So it makes it so easy if you're wanting to use them for decorating. And but again, if you don't have the die, all you have to do is just cut strips of the words that you have. So that works out really well, as really cool as well. I love the fact that they were the colors. And so all of these I will post tonight so that you know page 1, page 2. If you want to do it the way that I did it, great. If you want to do it your own way, no problem at all. It's exactly what you want to do. But a fun way and an inexpensive way of putting together a little book. The other thing I would say is using foam tape inside. If you want to use foam tape, I would suggest we have, and Courtney probably does too at Scrapbook and Memories, we have the thin 3D foam squares. So these are thinner than the regular foam squares, and that way you don't get as much of a, it's not as thick, but I didn't want my book being like this when I was finished, you know, putting all the photos into it. So this way I can add a little bit of foam tape to give me the dimension, but I wasn't adding a lot of thickness to my book. So I hope that that makes sense for you as well. The photos that I used, Linda, are, I believe they're like a 2.5 by 3.5. I get them done at our local drugstore here in Vancouver, London Drugs, and they have a smaller size than 4x6. And that's what I love about them, especially if you're working with like a small little book like I did. So I'm going to leave that project because I just want to go over the second project. I always have such great aspirations on how things, but we've got 20 minutes, so we can work on that second one. And again, because it's so hard, I don't want you putting together the inside of your book until you decide what you want to do. If you want to add photos or you want to do it as a journal, that way you can use the size of the papers and that you want to use as well. So, but yeah, fun little book. I enjoyed doing it. I loved doing the big one when I did the Paris one for Diana. And I thought, well, why can't you do the same thing and just bring it down in size? And so that worked out well. And the nice thing about this kit is it included all your envelopes and all your card bases. And that's what sort of gave me the idea. So that worked out well. So I'm just going to show you the second little card that we did. Let me see where I put it. It's right here. So this little card, same sort of premise. This one I thought would be fun. We did the embossing that I asked you to do in homework. Card base already cut for you. These are those awesome card bases you get. And if you look at the thickness of these card bases, amazing. And they emboss super nice. So what I would do, if you have extras of these when you're done with doing your little book and doing, or well, you're not using them in your little book, but if you're making extra cards or Courtney's projects tonight, cut them in half and emboss them because the quality of this paper is just crazy. It's really good. So you can use it that way too. That way you're not wasting anything. So let me just show you. So this is your card base. There's your little card base that you've got already in your kit. And I asked you to cut a piece for homework. Another embossed piece. Surprise, surprise, when you're doing a crafty hour with Diane, there's embossing. How shocking. And we're just going to cut it down to size to work onto our card base. And we need some more of our silver. Here's my silver piece right here. So we can do the embossed piece first. We're going to cut it to 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. So, whoops, let me move this over here. Let me just make sure I am in view for you. Clean that up. Good. Okay, so 3 3/4 by 5 1/2. Easy to find on your trimmer. By 5 1/2. There is my embossed piece. And we're going to put a mat around that, and that is the silver. And we're going to cut it to 3 7/8, so that's just one tiny little notch down by down from 4 inches. So 3 7/8. Whoops. There we go. 3 7/8 by 5 5/8. So one up from 5 1/2 as well. Okay, so there is my embossed piece onto my silver piece, just like that. And that's going to fit perfectly onto your pre-made card base. So together like that. And we can just add some foam squares. You can do it with dimension or you can do it flat, whichever you prefer. Yeah, just awesome little kit for sure. I love the purple. Deanna has a great relationship with Uniquely too, Deanna and Courtney, so that's fantastic. That way we get these awesome kits for crafty hours. These little pieces off my foam tape. I do find sticking the embossed onto foam as well. If you can use your foam tape, it is a little bit stickier and it seems to attach a little bit better than just using a glue runner onto the glitter paper for sure. So that, and then I'm just going to stick this guy flat, but again, you could put foam tape in behind it if you would prefer to have it raised up. Whoops. And just stick that onto your pre-made card base. Okay, so now we did the same thing as we did in our little book. Is I made another little pocket on the front of the card because this little guy here is a gift card holder. So I thought rather than having it on the inside, I would incorporate it onto the cover of the card. So the paper that I used for this one is this beautiful floral paper, which looks very similar to the one that was on the cover that we used before. And so all you're going to do with this, let me move this guy out of the way and I'll bring this one here. So you're going to grab the 6 by 6 floral piece, which is this one, cut to 3 3/4 inch on the left, and then cut to 3 3/4 inch to make a square. So I'll explain what I mean by that. So see the florals? We want to have the florals here in the pocket. You could do it this way too, whichever way you want, just to have your florals in the corner. So you're gonna cut to 3 3/4 inch on the left. So if you go 3 3/4 inch, just like that on the left, and then you're gonna cut 3 3/4 inches up. So that just forms your square. Okay, so there's our square. Makes sense? Everybody good? And then you're going to cut it on the diagonal. So just make sure that you've got it with your florals on the diagonal. That's where you're going to want to cut it. This is going to form our pocket. Just like that. And there is our floral corner. I mean, it really is stunning. Every time I look at this, it's so pretty. So that fits perfectly onto our width of our embossed piece. Okay, so just like that. I'm going to grab my sequin. And again, make sure that you're just going to cut, you're just going to tape it on this side. Sample I did the other night at home, and I went to do it and I was like, okay, well, that's not the side I wanted the tape on. Shocking. Okay, and then down here at the bottom. So that is our sides that we need to have that on. Pull off the sequin. And then we're going to put it right against the edge of the embossed paper. So just like that. So there's your pocket, and it's on an angle just like that. Make sense? Good? Everybody good? Okay, so then from there, I did, for the gift card, I made it even easier. So the gift card holder, all I did was cut, where is my card? Right here. I just grabbed one of my little cards, okay, my pre-done cards, and I cut it at 2 3/4 inches. So make sure you cut it, you want this to be the top. You're gonna make it like a tiny little tent card. So you're gonna cut it to 2 3/4 inches. So just like that. And that forms my little gift card holder that's gonna pop in perfectly in there. So again, quick and easy for you. And the little piece of floral that we just used for the pocket, so this down here, I used on my gift card holder. So it's much narrower than the gift card holder, but I didn't really, that was fine for me. So all I did was just cut it. I just made sure that it was centered like that. And it is 4 1/8. So even if you cut it to say 4 inches. Now all you're gonna do is stick it on the front of your little holder. So this is where we cut. This little guy here is out of your paper pad. Both of these are on one of the cut apart. The idea is you're supposed to fussy cut. That's not gonna happen for me. I'm not a fussy cutter at all. So that's okay. These ones were able to just be cut into the square kind of rectangle-y part. And then that way it's gonna go right on top of this. And when you stick this inside your pocket, it kind of just holds it in place with that little raised up part, if that makes sense. So quick and easy, because you're not adding anything more to this except for the cutouts. And I just did it like this and then was able to just stick my, where's my sample card? Oh, right here. I just did it and then just put like a Starbucks card or whatever inside it. So it's sort of like a little gift inside the card. So the pages that you used, this is what I was talking about. This is the sheet that is inside your kit. So all you want to do for this is you just want to cut it out. So all I did was cut out the square, and I cut out the perfume bottle. And then I just matted them with a tiny little piece of white around that. So it depends on how wide of a mat you want to have. It doesn't have to be very wide at all. That way I could put it onto a piece of white with foam tape, and that onto my gift card holder with foam tape. And same for this piece down here. I just stuck the little perfume bottle into the corner down here, and I tucked this other die, which was one of the other ones that I had asked you to grab for homework. I just tucked it underneath. Before I stuck the perfume bottle down, just tucked this tag underneath it, just like that. And again, here's those cute little sayings, the little salutation sayings that you had, that I stuck that flat and put some foam tape in behind it, and just a tiny little piece of foam tape here to pop those up, just again to give it some dimension. But kind of a fun idea for a gift card, so the card is your gift as well. Now you could also use the bird. These ones I just found were a little bit harder because you really do have to kind of fussy cut around them, which like I say, it's just not how I do things. These would also be awesome. So if you didn't want to use the smaller ones like I used here for my friend, you could put the best birthday or happy birthday there too. So many ideas and so many things that you could do with them. And you received 2 sheets of this. So that way Courtney and I both knew that we had them, so you will be able to use them on both of the projects. So that is that. So what I'm going to do tonight is I'm going to post the inside pictures of the book. So that way, if you want to do it the way that I did it, you'll be able to, but you'll be able to grab photos before you do them. So that's great. A couple of things. We at Clipper Street, and I'm not sure about Courtney at Scrapbook and Memories, but please check in with both. We do have some products that we still have in stock. This is a vellum, I believe, creative cuts that we didn't have in our kit, but that was an extra product. Here are those stamps that I was talking about. Now you have them on your 6x6 piece of paper, but as you can see from Uniquely, they are also putting them out on their 12x12 pieces of paper now. Like, look, that one has 4 of it on there. So if you're using that postage die, it will fit perfectly on there in order for you to cut it out. Or again, it even has a line around the outside. If you don't have the postage, then you can just cut it right in a strip. And then lots of other things that you can cut or fussy cut them out too. We have those. We have a couple more of the 12x12 Uniquely collection pack left, and we have some of the cardstock bundles, which the cardstock is a complete and perfect match for the colors in the kit. Like I was saying, it's hard sometimes to match them up with the perfect one. So you can either email or us or here at Clipper Street or Scrapbook and Memories and check and see if we have if there are any in stock for you, or you can give us a shout as well. I hope you enjoyed that. Like I say, it's kind of a different thing to kind of play around with. And like I say, I'm more than happy to answer any questions that you might have on Crafty Hour Creations or Clipper Street or Scrapbook and Memories. And I can make sure that you get any information to finish it off as well. So don't forget, Courtney today is at 5 o'clock. she'll have an awesome crafty hour as usual. Make sure you join Crafty Hour Creations. I know so many of you have already joined it, and we see so many products that people do as well that we so appreciate. Post your creations, because it is a great way of seeing homework and that too before our crafty hours. And they're all posted on YouTube as well. You don't have to search to try and find it on our websites or anything. They will all be posted on YouTube. So that's great as well. Our next crafty hour, there's one coming up in 2 weeks today. We still have a couple of these available. This is this gorgeous pink lemonade from Simple Stories. Comes with an embossing folder. We have 2 or 3 of these left. That will be Crafty Hour 86. And that one is 2 weeks today, and unfortunately you're stuck with me again. But no, it'll be a lot of fun. I love this color palette. Talk about fun and bringing on sunshine and summer and that as well. So that one is coming up in 2 weeks. And like I say, we still have a couple of kits left for that. And then tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Pacific, we will reveal Crafty Hour 87. Yeah. And I don't even know what that is. I'm sure it is in the back of our warehouse, and it'll be awesome as usual too. So I hope that all made sense. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I really appreciate Courtney and Diane to give me the opportunity to do a crafty hour every so often, and I will see you in 2 weeks. But yeah, I look forward to seeing what the new one will be, and that will be released tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. And please don't forget to tune in to Courtney at 5 p.m. Pacific. All right. Thank you so much. Enjoy the sunshine if you have it, and I will talk to you real soon. Take care.